question is, what draws you, Michael, to Steve McQueen's work?
He's a handsome man. Well, it was like, you know, first time I met him, really, I just sort of realized that there was somebody sort of special sitting in front of me, somebody who had sort of real empathy, somebody who really loved human beings and liked asking questions about, you know, why we're here and how we relate to each other and how we relate to ourselves. And I just knew that, you know, I was going to learn something from him, and that, you know, I must work with this man.
Another question.
Really?
The question for those in the back is, what kind of research did Michael put into the role?
I just sort of threw myself and didn't know. You know, it's kind of, the research for me is pretty much always the same. It's, you know, the script. And I just spend a lot of time with the script. And that's kind of what I tend to do with all scripts. I just sort of reread it. And after a while, it sort of, I don't know, sits in your enamel. And it's almost like another sort of layer of skin. And then, of course, meeting people, you know, talking about people that are sort of going through this. And then, of course, discussions with Steve, you know, and then we sort of, you know, workshop some ideas. But the bulk would be just sort of with the script, spending lots of boring time alone, sort of, you know, just sort of getting to know that as best I can.
Next question.
Got free will. You know, we haven't. You know, I wish I was a robot. We were robots in a way to do what we want to do. I want a six-pack. But no, that's not going to happen. I mean, I want a biscuit or whatever. And it's the same thing with what's going on with Brandon, what's going on with Sissy. You know, and you know, that's why, you know, unfortunately we live in not the rest of the world, because we keep on fucking up. Then we think, okay, let's fix it. Then we keep on fucking up, and then they come, let's fix it. So it's kind of, it has a very broad brush, the situation. Very broad brush.
The mental sort of health board or official people who decide what is mental illness and what is not don't recognize it as a condition. Yet I think it's something like 24 million people in America alone claim to be suffering from it. And I think, sort of, for me, addiction would mean that you realize that there's a pattern happening, yet you can't break that pattern. And through that pattern, your work is affected, and the relationships in your life are affected by it. And I just thought that that was enough for me to go on really with that and try and sort of understand, as Steve was saying, you know, we can find addiction. I mean, because we have so much information being thrown at us these days, so much choice, we're told that we should be doing so many things, gaining so many sort of material objects, seeing the right people, wearing the right clothes in order to bring happiness. I thought, you know, that there was an awful lot there that seemed real to me, and I could recognize it in the world sort of that we all live in. So yeah, it's kind of that idea that, you know, it's like it can come through gambling, it can be our relationship with food, relationship to sex, as in sort of this case here, or alcohol or drugs. It's kind of the same thing.
Great, another question, Michael, about in both of Steve McQueen's films he has to mentally and physically expose himself, and how do you go about preparing yourself for that?
Well, it's kind of embarrassing, really. You know, but it's part of the story, you know, and you're just trying to sort of tell the story as best you can, and try not to let sort of Steve down. And so again, it's just really the same thing with the script. I spend an awful lot of time with the script, and sort of discover things and get to a point where I'm very comfortable with the script, so that when I come on set and we put it on the floor, then I can be relaxed, and I can be sort of awake to what's going on around me, and try not to pre-impose what I'm going to do in the scene or preempt it too much. And you know, but again, it's just the idea of working with the script, and yeah, okay, I have to get my clothes off, so just, you know, get on with it really. Sort of, you know, beginning, you feel a little bit sort of self-conscious. In the end, I'm just strolling around the apartment naked. So, you know, it's just one of those things, really.